This is exactly why investors are losing interest in NIO stock, the Great Depression. Why are investors losing interest in NIO? Is NIO stock going to crash? Looks like this is actually depressing. So what exactly happened? If you want to know the answer, make sure you stay tuned. Welcome to Finance Insights. We're back with another interesting video. Today, we're going to talk about why exactly the investors are losing interest in NIO stock. So without any further ado, let's get into the video right away. NIO Inc. has officially released its first quarter 2022 report, and the investors are dissatisfied with the electric vehicle manufacturer's most recent quarterly figures. More generally, growth stocks are plunging Friday on the news that the United States inflation rate recently touched a 40-year high in May. Following a significant decline on Thursday, NIO share prices were down another 4.8% as of noon Eastern Time on Friday. The bad news about inflation is especially bad for growth stocks like NIO, because both high inflation and the higher interest rates that the Federal Reserve will use to fight it raise the cost of doing business, making it harder for those companies to grow. After the release of NIO's disappointing earnings for the first quarter on Thursday, multiple analysts lowered their ratings for the company. NIO's vehicle margins and gross margins were both lower for the quarter. Management pointed to higher battery prices and lower average realized selling prices for its vehicles as the main reasons. Now let's look at the Q1 reports. NIO lost $281.2 million in the first quarter, a larger loss than the $68.8 million it lost the previous year, as it struggled to keep up with heavy demand amid China's recent COVID-related shutdowns. Revenue came in at $1.56 billion, an increase of 24% from the first quarter of 2021. Loss per share after adjustments came in at 13 cents, compared to 4 cents in the first quarter of 2021. In comparison, the gross margin was 14.6% a year ago, it was 19.5%, and it was 17.2% in the fourth quarter of 2021. The company had $8.4 billion in cash on hand at the end of the quarter, which is somewhat less than the $8.7 billion it had on hand at the end of 2021. NIO sold 25,768 cars in the first quarter, which is more than the 20,060 cars it sold in the same period last year. The company said that they are on track to deliver between 23,000 and 25,000 cars in the second quarter, which is a good sign for June. COVID-19 shutdowns and problems with the supply chain meant that NIO could only send out just over 12,000 deliveries in April and May. Even though China has recently been affected by pandemics, demand has stayed strong. Lee said that in May, NIO reached an all-time high order flow. Perhaps what concerned investors more than NIO's Q1 numbers were management's outlook for the second quarter. For the second quarter, NIO anticipates revenue between $1.47 billion and $1.6 billion, compared to the consensus estimate of $1.86 billion. Citi analyst Jeff Chung is still bullish on NIO shares, stating that the Q1 outcome alone is neutral to slightly positive. The second quarter may be rather quiet before things really build up in the second half of the year. Wall Street thinks NIO will deliver 28,220 cars in the second quarter, which is a small increase from the first quarter. They think it can sell 39,290 cars in the third quarter and then 61,900 cars in the fourth quarter. If that happens, NIO will be on track to deliver 152,179 cars in 2022, which is 66% more than the 91,429 cars it moved in 2021. Notably, NIO started delivering its fourth model, the flagship ET7 Premium Smart Electric Sedan, in March, but only 163 ET7s were sold in March. In April, 693 were sold, and in May, 1,707 were sold. But this year, it plans to release more models. The ES7 and ET5 will both be released this year. The ET5 is a mid-size electric sedan that will be made at the company's new factory at NIO Park in Hefei. The ET5 should start rolling off the production line in September. It also plans to make new versions of the ES8, ES6, and EC6 SUVs that will come with its new digital cockpit technology. Also, the margin should be carefully watched. Because of problems in the automotive industry supply chain, prices have been going up across the market. But price hikes, better supply chains, and better scale as production ramps back up should start to have an effect in the second half. This should allow its gross margin to recover back to 18 to 20% in the second half of 2022, according to consensus figures. The fact that the new ET7 is more expensive than other models will also help raise average selling prices this year. Refreshed versions of the cars already on the market could also cause prices to go up. In the coming months, the situation in China and supply problems around the world are likely to be the biggest worry, but the markets are hopeful that things will get better in the second half and get the company back on track. This makes NIO a possible recovery play for the future. However, NIO doesn't expect to make its first profit until 2024 because it is releasing new models, expanding into Europe, and spending a lot more on research and development. Since the beginning of 2022, NIO shares have lost more than 42% of their value because of the tough environment, which has hurt production and margins. Since early 2021, when the company's value was an all-time high, NIO shares have lost about 69% of their value. Another thing that has hurt NIO is that the US and China haven't been able to find a way to audit companies that work for both of them. The US is not happy with the auditors that NIO and some other Chinese companies use because they can't check them. Because of this, the SEC added NIO to a group of stocks that could be forced to stop trading on American exchanges. Notably, the possibility of having to delist was one reason why NIO listed its shares in Hong Kong in March and Singapore in May, even though its main listing is still on the New York Stock Exchange. As a result, investors were hoping for a greater rate of development for NIO because of how fiercely competitive the EV business is. But NIO stock might not have dropped as much as it did on Friday if the market as a whole hadn't been going down. Its plans for growth are still in place, and things look better than ever. I'd even say that this drop in NIO stock price is a great chance for investors to buy into the electric vehicle sector. But that's not all. This mass market EV will run on NIO's own battery packs, which it will start making in 2024. Batteries are the most important part of an EV, and building them in-house will be a key step for NIO on its way to becoming self-sufficient and mass-producing EVs at a low cost. And on Friday, NIO announced plans to build an industrial park where EV parts will be made. This is to get its production base and parts supply chain closer together. Hey guys, are you a NIO stockholder? Do let us know in the comments section below, and one more thing if possible, please share your portfolio with us. So is NIO stock a buy now? It's a great question, and let me explain. From a fundamental point of view, NIO's finances are getting better after worries about debt and liquidity caused shares to drop. It has cut down on losses and made solid gains in revenue, but the higher cost of batteries are putting pressure on EV margins. New electric cars, expansion into Europe, and improvements to batteries all mean that there is more room for growth, but the wars over EVs are getting worse. Even though China's latest restrictions are over, for now, NIO is still having trouble because there aren't enough chips to go around. In the long run, battery supplies could be even more of a problem for EV stocks as a whole. Fears of a US delisting and a China slowdown mean that NIO stock could take a long time to get back to where it was. It is still a promising EV stock with a high growth rate. So, this was all about this video. I hope you enjoyed the information given in the video, and if you have anything on your mind, feel free to comment below. Also, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to get more videos like this. And also hit that bell icon to get the notification of the latest updates on our channel. And thanks for watching.